Welcome to Your Inner Power with Krista. This podcast is for the deeply intuitive ones, the curious ones, and the ones who follow their own path and embrace their uniqueness. Chat about all things spiritual, life's adventures, and always go back to deep self-trust because it's all within you. Let's dive in. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. This is the first episode of the new year. I hope your new year is treating you well. I think the energy for me feels definitely different than 2025, but not sure that it feels like a new year yet. I also kind of feel like in the dead of winter, it's kind of hard to start fresh, or I feel that my new year definitely starts in the spring, which I know aligns with the spring equinox. So that's personally the way I am currently feeling. I also was taken out the first couple weeks of January with some type of viral sickness that was not too fun, but I definitely feel like it did some sort of upgrade. I do feel like every single time I get sick in some capacity, there is an energetic upgrade. And this had to do very much with my throat. I actually lost my voice, which has not happened to me since I was a kid, probably. So lots more to come this year, I think, just because of that experience in the beginning of the year as well. So let's get into today's episode. Today's episode is your permission to take a breather and relax. It's your permission slip to take the pressure off because life is meant to be an experiment. It's meant to be a fun game. And it's time for us to stop looking at everything with this microscope and judging ourselves and being so hard on ourselves with every single aspect of our lives. I hope this episode encourages you to just take a step back and lean into the fun and play and experimentation of life itself. You literally cannot mess up. I promise you can't mess up. And this is coming from someone who is, I guess, a recovering good girl and recovering perfectionist. And we'll get into this later on. But the more you can just lean into experimentation, fun, and play, the more you will enjoy your life. And that's really the whole point. And I'm talking about this because this is something that I have realized and navigated and moved through. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my experiences and also some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. I used to judge myself so much in everything that I did. I would say, I could have done this better. Oh, I messed up here. This is good. This is bad. And constantly was judging everything that I did. And I attribute a lot of this to trying to be a good Catholic girl as a child. In my younger years, I was so committed to religion and my faith. And I did believe that there was a man in the sky judging every move that I made. And I tried so hard to perform. I tried so hard to be the good girl. I tried so hard to do the right thing. And I constantly never felt good enough. And I felt like I was being judged in multiple ways by this man in the sky, this God that I believed at the time. And now I just have such a different outlook. And I realized that that really took me so far away from myself. And not only did I think that I was being judged, so I was so judgmental of myself, but also the pressure that created in my life. Just horrific. And the cost of being this good girl was that I really lived my first half of my life, more than half of my life, being a completely different person. Like, I was someone who was very quiet, more serious, was, smiling, friendly, whatever. But I was so caged in. And after I experienced my spiritual awakening, I realized I'm actually really funny. I'm actually really funny. Maybe I just think this about myself, but I'm actually really funny, and I'm actually really playful, and I like to just pour out my energy in a really like expansive way. And I like talking. Like, I don't want to be quiet. And it's so the opposite of who I thought I was. But I thought I was this other version because I was trying so hard to be the good girl. And I identified as the good girl until that began to be dismantled through my experiences during my spiritual awakening. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm actually not that girl. I'm actually this girl. This is who I am when I am not trying to perform or not trying to be good. When I was trying to be good, I was so disconnected from myself, so disconnected from myself, constantly people pleasing, constantly being the girl who I thought everyone wanted me to be ultimately, but not who I actually was and who I actually am inherently. I thought I loved structure. I thought I loved being put in a box and having the set of rules and following the rules. I actually hate that. I actually am so like go with the flow. I'm actually so open. I'm actually so let's throw all the rules away and find what works best for you. And this is the way I also am within being a mentor. Like, this is the way I am in mentorship. I'm like, I'm not giving you this set of rules that worked for me because that's not going to work for you. It's my job to take a step back and show you, reveal to you what works for you and support you in finding that and exploring that and it being this game and this expansive experience. It's not for me to give you a formula. That just sounds horrible to me. That sounds horrible. And that is not connecting someone with their true selves. So, bottom line is that I was so disconnected from myself because I was trying to please this man in the sky who I thought was judging every single one of my actions and then choosing my next experience based on my actions. And when I went through the spiritual awakening and really woke up to the fact that this is not the case, and I am actually source expressing itself here on earth, and my only job is to be Krista. And I actually can't mess up being Krista. There's nothing that I could do to mess up being who I am. And now, what I focus on the most is how can I be the most connected to myself? How can I live a life aligned with my inner truth and my inner power? And the more that I do that, the more that I feel that deep fulfillment. When you are in judgment of yourself, you're just being pulled farther and farther away from yourself and who you are and your inner truth. And from that place, when you're being so pulled far away from that, you can't make decisions from your inner truth. It's really, really difficult because you're in judgment. So learning how to come back to yourself and learning how to connect further in with yourself is the secret. I want to share some helpful tips that I have learned along the way. And the first one being is I really learned how to be the observer of what I experience and what situations are playing out in my life. I have learned how to zoom out and not identify as the situation. I used to really get stuck in identifying as whatever it is that I was experiencing. Like I made it who I was. So if I was being triggered in some way, I was feeling sad in some way, it would be like, I am sad and there's nothing that I can do to get out of this. And this is just the way it is. And I was just kind of stuck in that experience and waited for an outside source to change my experience. And if you're constantly waiting for an outside source to change your experience, then you're not connected to your inner truth. You're not connected to your inner power because you actually control what you experience. You can actually control how you move through things. You have that power. So when I experience a trigger, when I feel activated in some way, I try to allow myself to say, oh, this is interesting. I'm being activated right now. I'm being triggered right now. I see what's happening here. And I allow myself to zoom out and look at the situation with a bird's eye view, from a bird's eye view standpoint, rather than being so sucked into the situation. Because when I allow myself to be the observer, then I can see other possibilities. I can see other pathways. I can see other options that I can choose from rather than being stuck in what I am experiencing. Because you always have infinite possibilities to choose from. There's not one pathway, there's not only one option. We are so much more powerful than we even can comprehend, honestly. What has really helped me become the observer is reading my Akashic records. Through learning how to read my Akashic records and continuing to read my Akashic records daily, all of the time, I have learned to separate myself a bit from what I am experiencing. I understand that I am a soul experiencing life, and I am right now living in this body, but this is not who I am. Like these experiences are not who I am innately. And I can choose to experience things the way I want to experience them. I can choose a different pathway. I can choose to see, okay, this is what's playing out right now. And I don't want to be sucked into this situation. So I am going to go inward and I'm going to say, what is the best course of action for me right now? And I'm going to take action and go with that best course of action for me in that particular moment. Another thing that I have learned is that whatever situation that I'm experiencing is for me. It's guiding me in the direction of wherever I need to go. I'm going to learn something from whatever it is that I'm experiencing. And it doesn't have to always be a positive experience because we also learn and grow from difficult experiences. And we come out the other side with more knowledge and more wisdom that we can share with the world and implement in our own lives as well. And when I'm in a difficult situation, I say to myself, like, I know this is for me right now. Like, I know that this was not something that I was punished for. Like, this is not an experience I'm having because I was punished for a prior action. That's probably what I would have thought when I was younger and in my younger years. And now I understand that just every situation is guiding me to the next thing. And it's guiding me into where I need to go and whoever I need to be. And it is for me. And in that moment, I don't try to figure out why it's for me or how it's for me. I simply understand that it's for me. And that doesn't take away from the difficulty of the experience. It's just that it's a different way of looking at things and you begin to look at your experience from a different lens when you understand that it's for you. Like it's literally for you. There's nothing that you did wrong. It's just about you leading into, okay, how am I going to lead myself through this? How am I going to navigate through this? 3 is I learned that I don't have to fix anything. Like I don't have to manipulate my feelings. Like I can be upset. I can be deeply sad. I can understand that situation is for me. I can understand the observer mind and I can understand what is kind of playing out, but that doesn't mean I shouldn't feel sad, or that doesn't mean I shouldn't feel angry, or that doesn't mean I shouldn't feel the way I'm feeling. I can just allow myself to feel the feelings fully and allow them to move through my body. There was a time in my life where I thought like the answer was to just be happy all the time. And if I wasn't happy, then there, there was something wrong. And it was almost like I expected myself to just shift into happiness. But that was really just massive gaslighting of my feelings and was not helpful to me at all. And I believe that a lot of times our emotions get stuck in the body as well, and we don't allow them to move through. And I feel it's very important to feel whatever we are feeling without trying to change what we are feeling and just noticing. Like that's the point of all of these practices that I am bringing through, is that I'm just allowing myself to notice what is happening. It's not about judging or changing. It's none of that. It's just about noticing what is playing out. And when you are noticing, you're in a curious state versus a judgmental state. And that's when you can, like I was mentioning before, see other possibilities. You can see other options. You can see other pathways that you can take, and you free yourself from feeling so stuck and identifying as the experience. And ultimately, when you are in this more neutral state and not in judgment, this brings you back to yourself. This brings you back to your inner power. This brings you back to your inner truth. And from there, you can take the actions you want to take. You can know that this is the pathway that I want to lead myself. This is the way that I want to navigate this situation. And you're doing it from a place of deeply being rooted in yourself. And before I close out this episode, I want to remind you that this is not about being perfect. Sometimes I do none of these things and I do get stuck in the situation. But I will say a lot of times I'm able to notice, I'm able to observe more than be in judgment. And in the past, I was in constant judgment. But if you are in a place where you're just like, this sucks, I don't feel like pulling myself out, I can't pull myself right now from this experience, that is okay. That is okay. You are human, and that is okay. And there's always another moment. But I believe when you have this awareness and when you understand that when you're in judgment, it's pulling you away from yourself, you can navigate in a different way more and more. And those little changes, those little shifts add up to big, big results. I'm going to leave it there. I hope that this episode was helpful to you in some way. I hope you were able to take something away from it. I hope that you're able to just release a little bit of the pressure and take a deep breath and be able to observe a little bit more, notice a little bit more, rather than being in judgment of yourself. Because this connects you more with your inner power and your inner truth and who you truly are. Before I leave you, I also want to mention that I have a new offering if you are interested. I have a community space, the Soul Group Community, and I would love to have you in the community. I really have felt called to create a community space and to have a place where us spiritual girls can come together and to talk about our spiritual experiences and to normalize our spiritual experiences and to expand our gifts together and just play and have fun and for it to be a really expansive space. We will meet every other Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. And then I also have a WhatsApp group Monday through Friday where you can ask questions, we can connect with each other. It's really meant to be a space of connection and expansion as one, because I really have come to understand through being in group spaces and being in spiritual group spaces that we can truly expand together so much faster and at this accelerated rate when we are in community. Because when you see one person expand within their spiritual gifts and things are happening for them, you're like, oh, that can happen for me too. And you choose that path, and that's what happens for you as well. So the calls will include a guided topic and then just really like open Q&A. We'll chat a lot. There's going to just be a lot of beautiful opportunities to connect and expand. And ultimately, we're normalizing our spiritual experiences and being able to go deep together. And if you're not able to attend the calls live, I will send the replay out so you can watch it at any time. And then you could always ask whatever questions come up within the WhatsApp group. I'm going to leave the link below if you're interested in becoming part of the Soul Group community. And you can always reach out if you have any questions. You can DM me or email me. I am just really, really excited about having a community space. This is a really big deal, and this has been something that has been rolling around for me for quite some time. All right, so I will leave it there, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Your Inner Power with Krista. If this episode resonated with you, please leave a rating and review. This helps my podcast grow and reach new listeners. You can connect with me on Instagram at Krista Nastu. And if you're feeling called to go deeper, links to work with me can be found below. Until next time, remember, everything you need is already within.